You've entered the Houston Running Zone, the ultimate podcast for runners in the Houston area, featuring the everyday runners who inspire us, clubs, gear, races, and runcations. Houston, we've got the runs.
All right, today in the zone, I have another Aramco Houston half ambassador. He's been featured on Fox 26 Houston. He's active in the running community. Highly recommended from, thank you so much, Grace, salsa runner, for hooking us up. He's been in events, including the Texas Independent Relay, is Jay Perkins. Jay, what's happening, man?
What's happening, man? Thank you for having me on. How you doing?
Excellent. Well, when I was looking through, kind of doing some research, and I don't do a lot of research because I definitely want to be curious, don't want to have all the answers, but at the same time, I couldn't find your Fox 26 interview. So obviously you've done something awesome, or is it your running journey? I think is really what I really want to poke at is, when did you start running?
I started running at the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017. There was some health issues that I was battling that kind of got me started in my running journey. It really happened because, I was overweight. I had high blood pressure. I was pre-diabetic, pre-hypertension. And my doctor was like, hey, man, you got to change some things, else you're not going to live very long. And I was like, well, time to change. And I knew running was an outlet for me because I was in the military prior to my running journey. So, we ran every day. And I want to say during my military career, I was at one of my fittest times of my life. And I was like, well, back to running I go.
Okay. So it was just kind of the wake up call. Now, was it lifestyle? Was it eating? Was it just being inactive? Because it happens to us all at one time in our life. What was do you know what the cause was, or just a little bit of everything, just life?
I want to say it was a little bit of everything. So I would work out, an hour, 2 hours a day with some of my friends, but then I would go eat Jack in the Box or go get like fried chicken or, just all these nasty foods. And I'm like, well, I'm working out 2 hours a day. I can go eat whatever I want.
Yeah, we all say that. Yep.
It's like, nope, that's definitely wrong. So it was that, just, the regular, stressful day of life, work, family, and all that. And so there was just a lot of, bearing moments that ended up making me very overweight. I think when I weighed in, I was close to like 300 pounds. And I was like, yeah, I got to change this. So it was just a combination of a lot of things that got me to that point. But most of all, I think it was the food. I mean, I was eating fast food like every other day. So I wasn't cooking. I wasn't meal prepping. I wasn't doing any of that. It was just like, hey, this is convenient. This is easy. Let me go get, a double cheeseburger or whatever and go about my day. So I think it was the food most of it.
Yeah, I think every nutritionist will say you cannot work out a bad diet. I mean, we all have glitches, but it's addicting too. I mean, I'd imagine you get it right away. It's inexpensive. I mean, it gets us all at one time in our lives.
Oh yeah, especially like when you're busy and you're working 10, 12 hours and you're trying to fit everything in, and you got family members that depend on you and all that, stuff. So it's just a lot, and at the end of the day, I don't want to go and cook a meal. I just want to get something easy and go without my day. But, going to the doctor, that changed a lot of stuff, a lot of habits.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely want to hear about your running journey, but at the same time, what food choices, because as you said, you have obligations and you want those, you want to spend time with family. You want to, go to work and of course, have money and to be able to support, but at the same time, like, how are you, first of all, I always talk about how people can make time for running, but how are you making time to, whether it's meal prep or whether it's figuring out a way to cook, like what's your go-to?
So right after, getting that information, I kind of just went cold turkey and I actually went vegan. So like the very next day I was like, okay, I'm going to stop eating meat. I'm going to do no dairy, no cheese, basically all the good stuff. I'm going to throw up my diet.
Okay.
And yeah, I just went cold turkey. And honestly, I found, I don't remember the company that I was using at that time. It's been a while, but there was a vegan meal prep company out that had just started up, and they're based out in Houston. I wish I would have known, kept up with them, but um, I just got a meal prep, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna follow this. I'm gonna stick to this. And right when I changed my diet is right when I started running again. And to this day, I remember my very first mile. It was like an 18 something, like an 18-minute mile when I was running like sixes and sevens when I was in the military, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely a wake up call. So it honestly all changed like within a week. Like I was determined. I was like, yeah, I gotta change. I gotta change my life. I gotta change my eating. And honestly, when all that started, it was like, all right, I gotta start running too. So, but to make a long story short, it was just getting consistent. It was staying focused and motivated on that goal of I need to become better. I need to do better. And it was finding little small tweaks in that time period that was one, it was healthy, but it was convenient. And it helped me with my everyday activities, like going to work, helping family members, all the other stuff that comes around in your daily life. So,
Yeah. The small tweaks, but the cold turkey and going vegan. Are you still vegan as to this day, or?
so I like to call myself a flexitarian. So
Yeah.
sometimes I eat fish, sometimes I eat shrimp, but most of all, I try and eat whole plant foods. There are times where I might go and get some pancakes or something like that, like after a long run. But for the most part, I'm pretty much still plant based. I mean, I'll throw in some salmon here and there, but honestly, I've been doing it so long, I don't even crave that stuff. Like I don't like I go to barbecues, I don't crave any barbecue. Like the smell doesn't get to me. I still go to family gatherings. I still go out to like restaurants and whatnot. And I don't crave it anymore. It's kind of like one of those things where it's repetition, right? And you keep doing it and doing it. And then eventually it's just like second nature. It's like, oh, okay. I'm at a barbecue spot, but I don't want no barbecue.
Yeah, and obviously, everybody's genetics are different, but I think everyone can
Yeah.
agree that we should all be eating real food. I was listening to another podcast with the founder and CEO of Whole Foods. I think he's finally retiring, but yeah, he's basically like, even overly processed vegan food is junk food. Like he's like, eat
Oh,
real food, and this is a guy that owns Whole Foods, owned previously, but still, it's crazy. So I think we can all agree that we should be eating real food. So is there like a go-to that everybody, like, not everyone's going to go 100% and then become a flexitarian, realistic vegetarian, whatever,
yeah,
whatever we want
yeah,
to call it. But is there like, like, hey, everybody can cube and bake a sweet potato? Or is like, is there any go-to that you, for some people that say, hey, I'd love to at least introduced some realistic food that's easy? Is there like a go-to that you recommend for people?
Honestly, I like a lot of foods. And in hindsight, I try and give this example to people. So if you put a Thanksgiving dinner feast together, right? If you take away the ham, if you take away the turkey, you're literally almost plant based. If you're conscious about the stuff that you're putting in those sides, right? Like mac and cheese, you could do a vegan mac and cheese. Um, Dressing, you don't have to put chicken broth in your dressing, or green beans. You don't have to put butter. So if you just take away the ham and the turkey, you literally have a plant based spread. And a lot of people don't realize that. There's only a couple meats that are out there, right? You got fish, which is a fish. You got chicken, beef, and pork. You take those three things away, what else are you eating? You're eating plants. Most of all your sides are plants. So I'll be honest, man, I don't have one thing that I just jump to. I kind of just watch, does it have egg in it? Does it have dairy in it? I think, to kind of answer your question, if there's one thing that I could just go to and eat all the time, it would be peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
All right, I'm in.
There you go. But it has to be strawberry jelly, not none of that grape stuff. Strawberry jelly on your peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. So you can pretty much just kind of, go to the outskirts of the produce aisle and just, Google whatever you're craving and figure out how to make it.
For sure.
Is that your go-to?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah. You think about Thanksgiving feast. Yeah, I could eat like 10 sides and be 100% okay. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, yeah. Thanks for. I noticed that, and I was like, man, I could really get some cool tips on this. But yeah, going to your running. Why did you? Here's the second year doing this. Why did you become an ambassador? Why you continue to do it? Is it fun? Because I know it's a lot of work. Obviously there's some perks, but at the same time, you're like really giving back to the running community, spending your time, and of course, we all appreciate it. Why did you apply to become an ambassador for the second year?
So my first year was exciting. It was fun. I got to meet a lot of new people. I met a lot of people that have ran their first half, ran their first full marathon. And for me, I just like giving back to the community and helping those people that, feel like they're overwhelmed by running a half or feel like they're overwhelmed by running a full marathon. And I mean, let's be honest here. If running a half and running a full marathon was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not easy. And especially depending on the weather, it's not easy. So just being an interactive voice in the community and helping people that feel like they don't have the energy or the motivation to complete something that only 1% does in the world, that's very fulfilling for me. And so when I was an ambassador the first year, I met a lot of great people. I made a lot of great connections, and it's just being that voice and being, in the community and helping those people along. So I was like, you know what, I'm definitely going to do this again. And you're right, the perks are nice. You get behind the scenes and, see all the cool stuff before it comes out. But in all honesty, I do it because I like to help people with their fitness goals. And it might just be, somebody that wants to scratch off a marathon on their list and then go and do CrossFit or, golf or whatever it may be, but it's still, hey, I helped that person with that experience, and I always try and make it a positive experience. So that's one reason why I was like, yeah, I got to do this again.
That's cool. Well, obviously you have the discipline from being in the military. Mm-hmm. So when you started running back up, did you join a group or did you just like, I'm just going to do it because I know how to do it?
No, I didn't. I wasn't involved in any group. I was living in the Missouri City, Sugarland area at the time. And like I said, my very first mile when I started back running was like an 18-minute mile. I was like, man, there's people power walking in the mall faster than this. I'm ashamed of myself. Like, this is terrible. This is bad. And so there was a coworker that actually got me to sign up for my first 10K. And it was the toughest 10K in Kemah, the Kemah Bridge, the Texas Bridge Series.
Yeah. September in the heat at the steepest, the steepest bridge of the three of the series. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great idea. Yeah.
Wonderful idea. And so she's a runner, and she was like, "Yeah, I do it every year." I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna sign up." And so that first race actually helped me stay motivated, and actually helped me like in a training plan. And it was some random training plan that she gave me that she uses. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to change my diet around a little bit. I'm going to start running. I'm just going to follow this plan and see what happens. And I can tell you my first race, it was pretty bad. It was bad. It just rained the night before. They just sprayed the bridge with mosquito repellent and all this other stuff. Then it was under construction. And so in my mind, I'm like, I ain't never ran a 10K before. And so I go over the bridge, and then you come back over, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm going to go to the finish line. And the guy was like, what are you doing? You got to go back around. So I had to, you got to go around that bridge twice. I was like, yeah, I'm done. But I ended up, finishing my 10K. And then like, you hear about that bug, you getting bit by that race bug. And after I finished it, it was like all she wrote. The bug bit me, and I just started signing up for races after races after races. I think I did like 3 more all back to back to back. And then I signed up and did a half. And then it was just, the bug bit me hard. And that's honestly how it kind of happened.
Yeah, I figure that's like a Band-Aid right off. Like get the hardest 10K you can find September in Houston. Yeah, it could be a hurricane, it could be hot.
Yep.
So what year was this?
2017.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So actually, yeah. So for the series and of course, Running Line Sports, I actually was part of the committee for a good 6 years there. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So
nice.
That was one of my years. Yeah.
Nice. The Galveston Bridge, it rained the day before that one too. And then the Fred Hartman Bridge, it was windy. It's always windy up there. And I didn't realize this because, who's just running that bridge. Coming back after you run your 6 and 7 miles is steeper than going out on the bridge. And I'm like, yeah, this is dumb. I don't know why I signed up for this.
Well, out of those 3, which one do you prefer? I'm curious on this one.
Honestly, the Fred Herman was nice. I would do that one again.
Yeah.
I mean, that one, Galveston is cool. Kima is nice, but yeah, the Fred Herman is definitely the better out of the 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. I did it for 9 years. 9 years to the added Galveston, the last one. But yeah, like Fred Hartman, because it's actually, I mean, it's the highest, but it's the incline isn't that bad. It's just nice and easy.
Yeah.
But kind of moving towards you've done a lot of races. Moving towards Houston. The first time you did Houston, was that last year or?
Oh man, that was 2019.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah, so the Chevron was my first marathon that I've ever ran. And I was like, hey, let's make it a home marathon. I'm going to do it here. And so, yeah, Chevron was my first full marathon.
Okay. Yeah. Same with me. And I think you get spoiled because they really take care of the average runner. Like, I've talked about this before. It's like I've done whatever, over 40 halves and 7 fulls, but at the same time, I've never had a VIP experience as a regular runner. Like, there's no such thing as having a convention center with bag drop and after food. It's always outside, and I think you're just spoiled. So have you done other marathons after Chevron that's not in Houston?
So I haven't done other marathons outside of Houston, but I've been to them and have been like a participant like at 5Ks and stuff. And you're right. To have the convention center as one of the hubs for where runners can go and do their bag drop and stuff, it's actually one is convenient and it's extraordinary compared to other marathons that I've been to. Like you just said, a lot of them are outside. They're in the heat. They're in the elements. And so, like Chicago's a little. I went to Chicago last year to cheer on some friends, and they're similar as far as hospitality wise. But Chicago is a huge race. It's a world major, so they're trying to get as many people in there as they can, and they're taking care of that top 10%. That are elite athletes and whatnot. So it's different, but yeah, I agree with you. Houston definitely takes care of their runners.
Yeah, and obviously no disrespect to other races. We just get really spoiled here.
Definitely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's awesome. So are you looking to, what's next for you? Obviously, you're going to be, a Aramco half and, kind of probably being more of an enjoyment on the ambassador side. You're looking to do other marathons, just kind of seeing what comes to you?
So right now there's a few races on the books for this year. Mexico City. I'm looking forward to that one. That one's next month.
Wow.
Huge elevation. Yeah. Huge elevation gain. And so now I'm leaning more towards like destination races, going out and having a mini vacation while I'm running. That's a great way to see, the city or the countryside or wherever, that race is. So I'm leaning more towards, destination races, as you like to call them. But I'll continue to keep doing the Houston half. That's every year, even if I'm not training. or if I don't train, I'm going to run the Houston half. I love that race. And then I'm going to run Houston every year. So I know for sure those two races are going to continue until I, just can't anymore. And then honestly, just, free flowing, whatever comes up, whatever happens. Me and a couple friends, we did Cancun, the inaugural Cancun rock and roll. And
Whoa.
we were going to try and make that like a yearly thing because, Cancun's like an hour and 30, 40 minutes away. It's easy to get to.
Yeah. Several direct flights. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's just easy. And the race was awesome. It's a rock and roll, so they had bands all over the course. And unfortunately, they stopped it right after COVID. They didn't have enough momentum, I guess, to continue on. So just doing races like that, just honestly, just a tumbleweed in the wind, man. Whatever happens, happens.
That's awesome. And you mentioned Mexico City's elevation game, but just the starting elevation. I mean, like, how are you training for that?
I can't say that I can trade for it here in Houston, but
I'm just going to wear a muzzle or a snorkel or something. Like,
so I actually, surprisingly, I didn't have any elevation issues. So I ran a 10-mile race in Colorado. I forgot what year that was, but there was it was called Hoppin' Half or Hoppin' 10-mile or something like that in Denver. And I actually didn't have any elevation issues. So I'm originally from Denver. I moved to Houston in '98. So I've been here all my adult life. But I've lived in other parts of the country. And so the elevation really didn't have a problem. So we'll see what happens next month to see if I have any elevation issues.
Now, did you just pick Mexico City as a cool destination, or are you going to be doing other things, or you're like, it's a direct flight, let's go?
It was kind of like a group effort. So the usual people that I run with, they was like, hey, let's go to Mexico City. I'm not going to say no. So let's go to Mexico City.
Oh man, I absolutely love it.
It wasn't even, it was like, hey, this is coming up, or hey, let's train, or it was just, hey, Mexico City got a half. You want to do it? Yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we got a big old group of people to go. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
You are in the Houston running zone. We've got the runs.
Beginning, I kind of mentioned that Grace Also Runners, their Instagram handle, connected us. Now, are you also part of Latinas Run, or do you do weekly training? Like, what is because everybody is looking for some place to go, or they're looking to, to fit it in, whether it's in the morning, at night, a social run. Are there any other, weekly training runs that you recommend?
So, Houston is so big, and Houston has a ton of running groups. I encourage people to just go out and meet somebody that's in that group. I don't like to say that I belong to one group because I go to all of them. I go to all the events. I guess you could say that I do belong to all of them. I mean, Latinas Run, Freaks Run, Run Club, Black Men Run. I mean, I could go on and on about the list of groups that I've ran with. So, but during the week, I'm following a Garmin training plan right now, trying to prepare for Mexico City. I'll be honest, I'm not really taking it that serious because I'm more wanting to go to Mexico City for vacation than for a run.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm doing right now. But I try to stay active. I try and run every other day, and outside of not running outside of those days that I'm not running, I'm usually doing like strength training or yoga. I recommend yoga to runners all the time because, runners, we don't stretch, and yoga is a good stretch for runners. So outside of that, there's, nothing really that I'm following except for that Garmin plan and just, trying to maintain the miles every week.
It's really interesting. There isn't really a central hub of every single running club in Houston. Did you just start following people and Instagram starts recommending? And how did you find out about all these clubs?
So, man, that's a real great question, honestly.
I'm actually trying to get a tip. That's why. I have no idea.
That's a great question, because I mean, I've been running for so long. I'll be honest, I don't even know, how I connected with some of these groups, honestly. I mean, you have social media and you got Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, but in Houston, there's a running group every day of the week, and most of those runners that are at these, weekly runs tend to run with other groups during those weeks. So I think that's probably how I found out about most of the groups. Is just, talking to other runners. And, one thing that I would like to say is, for those people that are new to running, it can be intimidating, but all these run groups will welcome you with open arms. I've not been to one run group where I didn't feel welcome. So, people that are going to watch this podcast, just, hey, go out there, shake somebody's hand, say hi to somebody, and I guarantee you, that one group will turn into 5 and 6, and then you'll be like, well, man, I was supposed to go over here to this run group, but this run group is doing this. And then eventually you'll get overwhelmed with run groups, and then you can just run any day of the week. So I advise everybody to just go out there and just shake a hand or make a connection with somebody.
There you go. And now that we talked about it onto our phones, those will be all of our social media ads. They're listening. So there we go. Oh, that'll work too. Well, do you know when your takeover Tuesday is for the Houston Marathon page?
It's going to be later in the year. I believe it's in November. Right. Yeah. So be looking out for that. I'm going to try and do a little something different than I did the last year. So I'm brainstorming some fun ideas. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I love how all the ambassadors have different personalities, different ways of doing things. And I think that's the best part, is like just seeing like, oh, okay, they are busy just like me, or they have other obligations and they're making it work, come hang out.
Yeah. Yep. 100% agree.
Well, Jay, man, I really appreciate your time, and time just kind of flew. So I'll kind of let you go throughout your day. But before I let you go, I do have 3 more questions. Oh, actually, before that, you know what? Let me give you a bonus question. What I've been doing is, kind of give people that are listening one more reason just to go out for a run today or tomorrow.
It'll change your life. It'll change your life, because it definitely changed mine. If you stay consistent with it, and you don't even have to run a marathon. You don't have to run a half marathon. If you just go out there and get 1 or 2 miles, it'll change your life. It'll make your life better.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's true. You go from a doctor's appointment to an 18-minute mile to hey, let's go to Mexico for, okay, do I have to train? I don't need to train. I'll finish and I'll be able to hang out the rest of the night. It's a problem at all. That's awesome, man. Yep. All right. Yep. Okay, so let's get back to the lighting. All right. Question number 1. What is your must-have favorite piece of race gear? Shoes, hat, water bottle, you name it.
I would say shoes. I don't like running with anything, honestly. I don't like running with my phone. I don't like running with, a handheld water, a backpack. I don't even run with music. So it would have to be the shoes. Like, the less, the better.
Yeah.
So I definitely say shoes.
So, okay. So you're just like in the zone, in the elements, just being primal with it and just going out.
Yep. Music is a distraction. For me, it is. It's not for everybody. Everybody has their own way of running, but for me, it's a distraction. I like to just get in the elements. I like to hear myself breathe and, listen to the surroundings. Now, granted, we live in Houston, but there are some areas where you can actually hear the birds and, hear the kids playing and not hearing honking horns and traffic and all that. So I just like to be in the element, take my mind away from, being on the phone or being on the computer or listening to this or that. I just like to just get out and run.
Yeah. Yeah. I stopped doing it with music a while ago. And I think that's a good point. Even if they don't want to do it all the time, it's good to do it every once in a while and just like, oh, okay, my mind, it's if you're running every day or 5 days a week or 3 days a week, I'm like, mix it up. Go what they call running naked, which means no technology.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, we're around computers and laptops and your cell phones all day anyway. It's good to get away from, your phone and your laptop and the music and all the noise. So that's why I love to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Question number 2. If you could run or walk with anybody, live or past, who would it be?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would say my grandfather. I didn't have like a relationship with him in my adult life, but I knew him when, I was a teenager, a little bit younger than a teenager. And, just knowing and hearing the stories from my dad, I would love to just walk or jog or whatever it may be, or even sit on the porch and just have that conversation with that man. That'd definitely be my grandfather.
Way better than a musical playlist. That's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Awesome. And last question. I know food has changed your life. Vegan, flex, or realisticitarian or flexitarian, I believe it's called. But at the same time, hey, you know what? After a major event or things like that, there's always some sort of guilty pleasure. What's your go-to culinary guilty pleasure?
After a run or after a race?
Or just after anything, or just one of those, like, you know what, it's okay to splurge every once in a while.
French toast.
All right.
Yeah, gotta replenish them carbs.
What are you putting on those bad boys? You just going straight up, or
no, I'm putting butter, syrup, strawberry jelly. Got to be strawberry. No grape. Yeah, just the regular fixings, and I'd probably have like 10 slices, but yeah, that'd be my go-to French toast.
So you taking a nap after that, or you going after like to walk around to kind of?
Oh, I'm definitely going to sleep after that. I'm taking a nap after that, especially if it's a long run, 10, 15, 18 miles, then go home, get you some carbs in. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to sleep after that.
Well, yeah, once again, I'll put all the links to your Instagram handle. Appreciate all the awesome tips and look forward to seeing you on the Takeover Tuesday or upcoming social event. Thanks again, Jay.
No, I appreciate you for having me. It's been fun, and thank you again.
You bet. As always, if you want to become the first to find out about upcoming weekly episodes, simply hit the plus, follow, subscribe button. Depends on your podcast platform. And if you're on a podcast app where you can leave a rating and review, we always love it. Hey, give us 5 stars if you like it. And if you don't like it, give us 5 stars anyways. You made it through the whole episode. But more importantly, looking forward to sharing another episode next week.
Thanks for visiting the Houston Running Zone. If you know someone you'd like to be featured in the zone, go to thehoustonrunningzone.com and send us a message. Until next week, always remember, Houston, we've got the runs.